We're going to talk about toxicity. Today, didn't go anywhere, but the lovely former Mrs. Croce was here, and I asked her to take me to the grocery store because I needed a few things. So she said, yeah, let's go to the grocery store. I said, okay. So she drives me right up to the grocery store. I will not name the grocery store. But here, yesterday, while I'm laying around the house and I'm watching television, I'm watching cable news or cable something. And there's this show where they talk about the grocery store and all the toxic things that are happening to you, starting with the shopping cart. And they said they've got these little wipes. I've never paid attention. They got these little wipes that you can wipe off your shopping cart with and get all the germs off your shopping cart, because they said there's all kinds of stuff on there. There's, there's just all, salmonella. They're saying you could get, just all kinds of awful things. They were talking about hepatitis. They were talking about mononucleosis, all this stuff on my shopping cart. I've been shopping. I'm an old man. I've been shopping. Well, if you count the times I went to the grocery store with my mom when I was a child, I mean a young child, I still remember being plopped up and sticking into that seat, that's in the shopping cart, and I have my hands on it. All my kids did that. All of my kids. I got 5 kids. I got 5 grandkids. Every one of them have been to the grocery store with grandpa, and every one of them have sat in that little seat and had their hands all over the shopping cart. But, we go up there, and I see the carts, and this is in my head from seeing this on television. And I look at Diane, and I said, Diane, she goes, what? I said, I saw this thing on television yesterday while I was laying around the house. She goes, yeah, I remember. I was there, remember? I said, yeah. And this is in my head. So she's looking at me like I'm nuts, and I am, by the way. And I'm grabbing the shopping cart with my wrist. Shopping cart's outside, and I'm pushing it into the store where that little thing is, where I can grab that stuff and wipe it all off. And I go in there, and there's the little thing where you can grab the cloths and wipe it off, and it's empty. And I said, oh, my gosh. And I looked at her, and she looked at me. I said, I'm going to have a thrombo. I said, I'm going to get poisoned. All these terrible things. And she goes, Michael, just go shopping. Just get what you have to get. So I reluctantly, for the first time ever, grabbed the shopping cart and worried about it. And she's looking at me. She goes, you're really worried about this? I said, I've never been worried about this before, but I'm worried about it now because that's in my head. I went shopping, and I came home, and the very first thing I did was wash my hands. Now, am I nuts? I don't know. But let's talk about toxicity, shall we? There's toxicity in a lot of the things that we use in the garden. There's toxicity with pesticides that we use in the garden. There's toxicity with fertilizers that we use in the garden. Even the organic pesticides that we use have toxicity to them. The natural pesticides that we use have a certain amount of toxicity to them. Let's take one, nicotine sulfate. There is a I don't even know if it's available anymore, but there used to be something called black something that was nicotine sulfate. It had a danger label. If you got this stuff on you, there's a good chance you would die. That's how toxic this stuff was. It was very, very bad, but totally natural. So, you have to deal with all of these things. You have to, the fertilizers that we use. Let's go with the organic fertilizers. I got asked a question in Orlando when I was speaking in Orlando a few weeks ago about chicken fertilizer to use in the vegetable garden. And I immediately said, because we want to go organic. I immediately said no. And they said, well, why? It's natural. I said, because you don't know what the chickens have been eating. Where are you getting the chicken poop from? Where are you getting the chicken poop from? Do you know what those chickens are eating? Chickens eat a lot of weird stuff. They do. They pump hormones into chickens. They pump all, antibiotics and all this stuff into chickens, depending upon the chicken farm. Now, some of the chicken farms are now saying they're all natural. They don't do hormones. They don't do antibiotics. They're doing everything natural. But you don't know. You don't know. And this is, 100% organic. It's chicken poop. I say use it on your lawn. Use it on your shrubs. Use it on your trees. But do not use it in the vegetable garden or anything that you're going to eat. There's other alternatives that are natural that you can go to. But now let's talk about one of those, and I'll tell you why that might not be the best also. Fish emulsion. We've always thought about fish emulsion fertilizer being natural. It's ground up fish. It's it's the oil that comes out of the fish, and it's really good. Now, if you're getting the fish emulsion from fish that they catch in the ocean, you're good. If you're getting the fish emulsion from fish that they breed in tanks, you have no idea what they're feeding the fish. So we get into toxicology again, or toxicity again. So you've got to know what you're using. When we get into chemical fertilizers, the thing about chemical fertilizers, and some people don't like chemical fertilizers, I happen to not mind them. I think they're fine. I use organic fertilizer on my lawn, but I would use chemical fertilizers. I would. The nice thing about chemical fertilizers is that you know everything that is in there because the law says it has to be listed on the label, everything and where it comes from. So you know.